In this video, I'll be using a small mini loom from Michaels, which is 18 packs, and it's from the kind that it's with a narrow gouge between the packs. And my tool, a little bit of red yarn, possibly some eyes for amigurumi toys, but I'll be making a knitted toy. So to begin, I'll tie my yarn to the pack, to the anchor pack, not very tight, just enough to hold the yarn in place. And we'll be using the and I would start cast on. I would be doing the zigzag on every other pack for the first row. So for the first row, you see that there is nothing on the first pack right above my anchor pack. So this will be my first stitch here. And I'll wrap my yarn around the loom, and from the next stitch where you see like 2 strings of yarn, I'll be flipping the bottom one on top of the top one like this, and we'll continue for the whole row for the first, that's basically the second row. And now you can untie the anchor pack, or you can just continue for a couple more rows. This is basically the first stitch for the first pack, and I continue to do the same until I get enough rows. Doing the knit stitch, or I believe it's called a flat stitch. For as many rows as I need. For this project, I'm using some yarn from Walmart, which is acrylic yarn. And continue to wrap the yarn around the stitches, around the packs, and flipping over the stitches for many more rows. Now you can untie the anchor pack, and at the end of the video I'll be showing you how to use this string for at the end of the project. So I'll continue using the same stitch. Make sure your yarn is not very tight when you're pulling with this hand. Just leave a little room for the stitches so you can actually flip the stitches nicely on each of the coming rows. And I'll show you along when I get further how many rows you're gonna need or how long your project should be. As I'm reaching the current length that I would need for making the red bird, I will measure how long did I need it, and it's about 3.25 inches. And I counted the rows, there are about 36, 37 rows after the cast on row. So at this point I'm going to pull the string from my pull string cast on method, to close the bottom of the bird. Pull as much as you can. If there's still a hole, you can finish it with a needle after you're done, before you put stuffing inside. If you want this to be fully closed. At this point I'll cut the string, the red string on top, and I'll use a needle to go through each of the stitches. As I'm making a keychain, you can also make it a toy, but you probably need to make it bigger or any size you like. I'll be using some stuffing for pillows, some plastic ice for toys, some felt, and whatever else you would need to make it like a keychain, and hot glue. So I will use a needle to take all the stitches down, and before I pull, I will close the bottom hole with the needle, stuff it, put the ice on, and we'll use some hot glue for the felt. So let me get ready with the needle. I'll cut a small circle from a white piece of felt, 2 of those for the eyes. As I'm going to be using this for a keychain, I can just hot glue it, but you can hand sew it or make eyes with crochet. Just make sure there's no small parts if you're about to give this to a small child, so it won't be a hazard, as well as the glue. I'll poke a small hole inside the white felt so I can get the toy eyes through it. And I'll get this thread through all the stitches to make it ready for the stuffing. So I got the thread through all the stitches. At this point you can decide which side you would be using. They both look pretty good, but I would prefer to use the back side, which is why I made my knot on this side. And I will try to figure out where I would like to put the eyes. You could also get a small white circle for the belly if you wish. And I will be using some of my plastic eyes for toys. So here are the safety eyes that I will be using. If you're interested, I purchased this from Amazon and I have video about it from last year. So I'll pick a small size of eyes of my choice. I will be using the ones that have a little bit of brown in them. and some small cups to attach the eyes, as well as some glue for the felt material.